Hello people of YouTube, this is Auguroth1 and I'm here with another review for you. This time I'm reviewing Blood Bowl. Yeah, get those fans going, cheerleaders and all that fun stuff. Today I'll be going through showing you all the different features of Blood Bowl and showing you how awesome and sometimes crappy it can be. I hope you enjoy the video and let's do this. Now, for those of you who don't know, Blood Bowl was originally a board game that came out in the 80s. It was done by Game Workshop, which made other games such as the Warhammer series, which is what it's most known for. Basically, Blood Bowl is based off the medieval games of Warhammer. And they have like all the races from there, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's basically if you were to take Warcraft, chess, and football and mix it all together. And that's what you get. And it's actually... Blood Bowl has many features. There's exhibition, quick match, there's multiplayer, which has a hot seat function, so that way you can play against someone without having to get multiple computers, which I kind of like that. Now that's only for the turn-based style, which I forgot to mention that Blood Bowl has both a turn-based fashion that's more like the original board game, and it also has a real time, which I'll be getting more into that when I get to the gameplay. There's also character customization, which if you do that outside of the different mini-game types, then you have to upload one of your teams from your campaigns, which is kind of an annoying feature, but it's still pretty good. It's fun to create your own team. There are tournament modes. Tournament modes are pretty fun. I haven't quite done that yet, but I plan to soon. And there's also a campaign and story mode. The story mode is all about you and your personal journey as a coach, trying to become the biggest and best Blood Bowl coach that ever could be. Unfortunately, you don't start out with your own team. What you do is you go from team to team trying to get these certain missions accomplished. Not like trying to win a game. It's like the first one is to just finish the match, which is like, it's an intro mission. And then later missions you have to like get 5 tackles or 3 dodges or 4 successful passes, which seeing as how that's only in turn-based style, that's the only way that the storyline works. So all these different mission objectives are all based on luck, because it's all based on die rolling, and which is just like the old board game, but at the same time it's irritating because you will have the best strategy out there. You could be kicking tail. You won't win because you have to get a certain amount of dodges, and dodges are, it's 50-50 or so to do that. So like the mission I'm stuck on, I have a Wood Elf team and I have to face off against Lizardmen. And what I have to do is I have to get a certain amount of passes and dodges in. Now this would be okay, it'd still be tough, but it would be okay. Except you only get the second half of the game, which is 8 turns, which really isn't that much if you play the game. 16 turns isn't enough to really get much done. And the enemy is receiving the ball right away. So I don't really have the option of getting the ball and working with it. Instead, I am forced to try to go over there, tackle their people, get the ball, which my guys suck at grabbing the ball, and then trying to get through with it, which really doesn't work, because how it works is, well, I'll explain more gameplay, but basically you easily end your turn without getting anything done if you're trying to get these achievements rather than playing the game strategically. So, storyline is kind of dumb. But if you play the campaign, that's what I like. I love the hardcore campaign, because what you do is you build a team from scratch. And what you do is you try to lead them to become the biggest, best team of all time. And there are multiple different tournaments you can play in. The tournaments you play in are based on your prestige. You can play a campaign in either real-time or turn-based. So if you're more of a sitting back and trying to figure out where to move the guys, if you're more like a chess player, then this is what you want. If you're more of a real-time strategy player or more of a hardcore, let's get in there, then you'll want the real time. I'll get more into that when I get to the gameplay. But yeah, I prefer the campaign over story mode anytime. But campaign is fun. I'm getting my butt handed to me a lot. Most of my matches are either lose by 1 point or it's a draw. Very rarely do I win. But with a team starting out and all I have are Beastmen and my Minotaur died, well, the gameplay is what we need to talk about now. The gameplay is actually kind of complicated. The reason why I wanted to make this Blood Bowl review was because I couldn't find one. I just couldn't find one online. I just couldn't. The commentators, I have to throw them in there for gameplay just because they're there all the time. They have a lot of good lines, and they're pretty amusing and pretty lovable. The problem is they tend to cycle through the same comments over and over again. So if you're playing this for hours on end as the same team, like if you're doing campaign, they're frustrating. Because like, yeah, I get it. That freaking ogre guy is awesome. You want to see him back? Yeah, I get it. You've said that a bajillion times in this match. I don't care. And one thing that's pretty intense about this game is that your characters can die. They can die in combat with other players, or they could die from the fans. The fans are brutal, man. They come in like sometimes for the kickoff. There'll be coach scoring depending on where the ball goes and who's more favored and fan stats and all that. And you go in there. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna receive the ball. I'm gonna maul some people. Yeah. If you don't have a good fan factor, what happens is the ball lands on your side, yes, but a rock could be thrown at one of your characters, knocking them out for a turn. The fans could come down and just maul your entire team. I've seen that happen. You think these high-leveled, prestige, Minotaur people or reptiles or ogres, for goodness sakes, could stand up to fans attacking them, but no. These fans are scary. And then the thing that usually happens when the fans attack you is you're pushed out of the field, or you push an enemy out of the field. And what happens is immediately fans come over and they start stomping on your face. They're brutal. They're more brutal than the players. And the next thing I want to focus on is the turn-based features. Turn-based is pretty much the board game, pretty much. And what happens is you have a 5-minute turn usually to move your guy all over the field. They can only move a certain amount, of course, and to move after a certain extent. Like, if you click on a guy and you want to move them, you'll see these dice things at some point. That means if they move into those areas, there's a dice roll for him to possibly fall down. And what happens is if one of your guys is knocked down, or falls down, or doesn't catch a ball, or doesn't pick up the ball during your turn, your turn immediately ends. It's kind of frustrating when you're just like, yeah, I'm going to send in my guy in there, and the enemy's completely blocked. I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to get the ball. Your guy's right over the ball, and he misses, and fumbles, and falls down. Or your guys are only 2 squares apart. And it's like, okay, you're just done moving. I want this guy would be able to make it over. Give him the ball. And he throws it, and it falls right into the hands of a halfling. Oh, halflings. So that's kind of frustrating. Turn-based is only for those who are really, really wanting to relive the board game, or for those who are really good at strategy and don't mind just having random dice rolls determine your fate in a game. Real time, what happens is, it's a real-time strategy game, basically, just with football goals. And several times I've gone over to an enemy team and just mauled them, knocking out most of their characters, even killing them a lot, and taking the ball and just running, even if they start with the ball. So real time is pretty fun, and there's a special thing you can do if you're really getting overwhelmed by the enemy coming at you and you need to strategize, organize your guys, because the guys are kind of dumb. You'll tell them to attack someone, they'll attack them for a little bit, then they'll just lose complete and utter interest, and just stand there like, tell me what to do, boss. But what you can do is, by hitting the space bar, you pause, and you're able to give all your guys commands, and then continue. I really like that feature, because it's like, you have the awesome extreme of real time, but if ever you're getting overwhelmed, and you can't command all your guys that fast, it's just, boop, okay, give me my time here. Okay, everyone, maul, and so on and so forth. It's actually pretty, you can even just select your whole entire team and have them go in one place. The only problem is if there's a guy with the ball, they will go past him click on, like if you have the ball and you send the group, they will leave the guy with the ball behind, and he'll be forced to fight off any of the stragglers, which is pretty lame. It's fun. Now, what I want to talk about next are the special deals. For those of you who want to get it for Xbox 360, I'm just going to say this now. I don't think it would work well. Most strategy games on Xbox just don't work, or any console for that matter. PC is where the strategy is at. So I recommend just getting the PC version. Now, here's a little thing that would help you choose the PC version over the Xbox One anyway. If you want more content to your game, PC version has extra races, a lot of extra races, a total of 20 if you get the special Legendary Edition, which is normally $40, but here's something cool though. Steam, awesome website. I went there one day and I randomly saw Blood Bowl Legendary Edition, normally $40 as I said, only for $8. Cha-ching! So I got my awesome 20 races and extra maps and a whole bunch of extra features, all for only $8. So you see something special like that? Go for it. I mean, an $8 game with lots of content, lots of customization, and I'd say go for it. Yeah. And I can see how it got a 6 in Game Informer, and I can see its downfall. Those who love to play like the board game, I can see how they got it completely frustrated with the Xbox One because you couldn't paint the figures, you couldn't give them custom colors for the team. You can in the PC version, which is nice. You can also see how people who are loyal to the board game would not like the video game in another way because they have 20 races. I'm pretty sure there's more than that. And then there's also the fact that they have people who are fans of the board game already have their custom team and probably wouldn't want to spend $40, $20 just to get it again. I heard the board game's more fun. I haven't actually played it myself. I just bought it because I'm a big Warhammer fan and it looked like fun. And $8, why not? Overall, I'd give it a 7. It's one of those where it's a hit and miss like. There are people who love it and and then there are those who are completely bored with it and don't want to play it ever again, and I don't blame them. Like, I've had a few friends come over and try and play it, and they don't like it, and I understand why. Even though it's a good feature, I did that once, turn-based, it took forever. I mean, forever. It was ridiculous, really. So, I'd recommend checking out this game. If you like football with orcs, lizardmen, minotaurs, and more, and you're not looking for an NFL-like game, then this is for you, and you should check it out. Now I know Blood Bowl was just a tribute to a board game, but I feel there are some things they could have done that would have added something to it. I think it would be interesting for people to build their own teams with multiple races, like have a minotaur and lizardmen and some elves all on a team. I think that adds a strategy because you're trying to figure out which players would work well with what. I mean, they have very well balanced teams right now, but just having that feature, it would be so cool. Another thing that I think should happen would be more species able to mutate. Character customization, instead of adding skills or leveling up their stats, you can mutate them, which gives them other skills and cool features like a second head or a third arm or a tail or horns or all this other cool stuff. Only a few races can do that. Right now I think there's only 3. Those are the only ones I've experimented with. The Skaven, which are rat people, the Chaos, which are beastmen, and then this other Chaos team which makes reference to Warhammer a lot called Nurgle, which is one of the gods of Chaos. Yeah, those are the 3 teams I found that can mutate. And I feel like there should be more because they're already partly mutated. And it would just be cool to have like, oh yeah, I got an ogre here with a second head, or I got a lizardman with horns and stuff like that. I think that would make it cool. Like, subscribe, comment, don't be trolls. I don't like haters. And have fun and try out the game. It's pretty fun. To the rest of you, take care and keep on the gaming.